Hey guys, so the live lesson today didn't load so great, and I was a little concerned about my arithmetic during that time because you guys who know me in class know that arithmetic is not my greatest strength. But I did, after doing a couple of problems, the ladies that were on there today, I did find there was an error in the arithmetic, but in going back and doing it the other way that I spoke to you all about, if you were in there, I think once you get the hang of it, it's actually a little bit easier. So I'm going to show you that way and see how you feel about it. So these are the two problems. This is problem 1 and problem 2 from the practice problems for today. So I have the problem set up already. And so what I'm going to do first is, previously I had said take the integral of both of them, calculate them, subtract. I don't know what it is about my adult brain versus my student brain, but it's a little easier. I really do think maybe it's a little bit more organized to subtract first. So just see which one makes more sense to you. So I'm going to do the integral from 1 to 3. So on these problems, the assumption is lowest to highest, if it's not given to you. So 2x squared minus 8x plus 10 minus x squared over 2 minus 2x minus 1. And I'm going to tell you the reason that I think it worked out a little bit easier doing it this way for these was because we ended up with so many fractions doing it the other way. So see what you like, use your calculator. But I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So I have the integral from 1 to 3, 2x squared minus x squared over 2. This would be 4x squared over 2 minus x squared over 2, so 3x squared over 2. Negative 8x minus negative 2x, so that would be minus 6x. And then 10 minus negative 1 would be 10 plus 1, so plus 11 dx. All right, so now from here I can do the antiderivative. So do that every time my 1 to 3 goes away. I do want to keep up with my 1 to 3 though. So this becomes 3x to the third power, and then I would divide by 3, so this just becomes x to the third power over 2. This becomes minus 6x squared over 2, so minus 3x squared, and then this becomes plus 11x. So now I go in here and I plug in highest number first, so 3, and I'm just writing that out there to keep track of it. So 3 cubed is 27. 27 over 2 times, or minus 3 squared is 9. So 3 times 9. And then 3 times 11 would be 33. So I'm going to change that 3 times 9 to 27. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug my 1 in to that function as well. So 1 cubed over 2 would be 1 over 2. 3 times 1 squared would be 3, and 11 times 1 would be 11. So if I put these things into my calculator, over here on this side, I get 39 halves, or 19.5. And then over here, I get 17 halves, or 8.5. And when we subtract those, we get 11. So that makes a little bit more sense as far as the arithmetic goes. But I do think with these ones, because of all of the fractions, it is a little neater to go ahead and subtract first. So I would maybe just keep in your back pocket that if you don't like what you get when you subtract, you can always do them separately, do the integrals separately, and then subtract your results.
What does a below mean?
All right, so this is question number 2. So again, I'm going to do the same thing here. The fact that it's the X and Y are switched does not change anything that you're doing. So my first thing is going to be to just set up my integral. I want to go lowest number to highest, so -3 will go on the bottom, -2 will go on the top. And that's just because on the handout, it just tells you X or Y equals -3, Y equals -2. Because it doesn't give you the order, just put it lowest to highest. All right, so my first term will be 2y squared minus y squared over 2. So that gives me 5y squared over 2. My second term would be 12y minus -4y, so that would give me 16y. And then my last term would be 19 minus -10, so that gives me plus a positive 29 dy in this case. So now I'm going to start plugging things in. I'm going to start with my -2. So 5 times -2 squared would be 20, because -2 squared is 4. So 20 divided by 2, that gives me, is that right? 5 times -2 squared, 4, 20 divided by 2. Yeah, so that gives me 10. Is that right? Oh, what am I doing? You guys, I missed a step. It's like, what's going on? Okay, so I have to do my integral first. Or my antiderivative first, sorry. Okay, so 5y squared would become 5y cubed over 6. 16y would be 16 times -2, so minus, well, y'all, 16y would become 16y squared over 2, and then 29 would become 29y. So when I plug my numbers in, I'm getting 5 times -8 divided by 6. So 5 times -8 is -40 over 6. That reduces to -20 over 3. -2 squared would be 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 16 times 2, that would be minus 32. 29 times -2 gives me -58. And now I'm going to plug in my -3. So 5 times -27 over 2. So 5 times -27 would be -135. Sorry, it would be -135 over 6. -3 squared would be 9. 9 times 16 divided by 2 would be the same as 9 times 8, so minus 72. And 29 times -3 gives me -87. So if I put these things in my calculator, I have -20 This should be a plus 32. Sorry, I don't know why that became a -16. That should be plus 32. -20 plus 32 minus 58 minus -135 over 6 minus 72 minus 87. So if I just went and put all of this stuff in my calculator, and on this side I get -32.6667. Notice I didn't round yet. I don't want to round too much until I rounded this because it was just 0.6 repeating, but I didn't round too much yet because I want to get a more accurate answer. So then this over here is negative 37.5. So that is like adding 37.5. And so when you add those things, what you get is approximately 4.83. Okay, so thank you to those of you who were online earlier today, and thank you for your patience. Each time something changes, it changes for us too, and I always really am grateful for how wonderful and patient and all of you are. So I do want to show you, without accidentally showing you the answers. 1 second. Okay, so I just want to point out on these two graphs that they are not giving you your interval. Well, the thing about it is you have to kind of look at the graph here to get your interval. So you have one interval here, or you have one end of an interval here at -1, and then you have one over here at +7. Now this one over here is slightly different. If you think back to some of the work that you all did on Khan Academy, you did some where you would take pieces and you would add them together. And that's kind of what you're doing here. So you are going to do 1 from 0 to 2, and then you're going to do another one from 0 or from 2 to 4. Okay, so here you'll have actually 2 intervals to do, 1 to 2 and 2 to 4. And then over here you'll have just the one interval from -1 to 7. Now in this one, you kind of need to use your judgment which equation should be subtracted from which equation. Because you've got to kind of look at these and see, okay, well, which one in this interval, which one is above the other one? And in this one, which one is above the other one? So make an attempt to work these out. I will post the work and answers Thursday in the morning. New work and everything will be posted Thursday morning. I realize this is kind of complicated, so we're going to continue with this Thursday. You may have noticed that there was no test posted today. Once they kind of lifted the restrictions on how many summative assessments we need to have for you all, it gave me a little bit more freedom to come to a better stopping point for your tests. So I do want to include a little bit of review this week on definite and indefinite integrals, and then I'll be putting some of those things on your test. I would actually like to include this topic on your test too, so maybe be looking for that next week instead of this week. So that was very exciting for me. All right. Once again, contact me by email if you need. There are teachers available from 3 to 8 each night. That link should be will be posted on my pages during the time that those teachers are available. I'm not necessarily on there until next week sometime, but there are teachers on there that can help you. Get in touch with me. Tomorrow is a no math day. Wednesday is a no math day. Maybe you just heard my son gasp because he thinks that applies to him. But make sure you're checking in on your other classes. I'm still available to talk if you need it. I have office hours in the afternoon, 2 to 3. But if you need something outside of those times, I just email me and I will set something up with you. I have 2 to 3 set aside to be available, but if we need to make some sort of other arrangement, I'm more than happy to do that. You all are doing so phenomenally well. I'm so proud of you. Talk to you soon.